Hi. Some good news, finally, about Ison. A good friend of mine, Black, did a calculation with what's the information that's available, and his calculation shows we don't need this to survive Ison. So I'm just going to put it down. Actually, what he states is that even if there's cyanide and even if the debris field engulfs the earth, the percentage of the dust that will turn into cyanide will not even meet the minimum level for the EPA. It's much smaller than that. And so it was a relief to get that information because, and he actually says he doesn't think the chances of a meteorite striking the earth is very large either. Be that as it may, it's made me relieved because the concentration of cyanide in the air is not going to be overwhelming if it comes. Having said that, though, Mike missed a couple of points because he doesn't have gas mask experience or even the experience that I got is dealing with asbestos. Apparently, exposure to cyanide gas takes some time to overcome. So once you get exposed to cyanide gas, it takes a while for the body to get rid of the cyanide. And that will affect Mike's calculation. Most people don't realize how much air you take in over a given day in order to get oxygen. And every time you take a breath, even if the exposure level is very low, it's cumulative. So once a blood cell locks up with the cyanide, it's not usable for maybe a day or two. So if you keep breathing in over and over during the day, it's only a very small amount of cyanide that will actually get into your lungs, but once it's there, just like asbestos, it's going to be there for a while. That's one thing. So that's so that and again, it'll still be very low compared to what the minimum standard for the EPA is. But there's two things also that go to raise the percentage. One is that the debris field is going to take, according to one video, is going to take 7 days to pass. So even though Mike has made his calculation, and I'm going to put it in the description so everybody can see it, okay? And even his comments to the negative, the thing that he's missed is as the Earth is traveling, okay, it's getting more and more cyanide exposure, even though it's very small, okay? So, and just to give you some idea, is that the debris field is traveling at 174,000 miles per hour, okay, not per day. So the Earth is only traveling at 25,000 miles an hour. So during an hour, you're going to get 6 times as much exposure as you did in the first 10 minutes. Okay, so it's going to accumulate, and it's going to accumulate over a long period of time. Okay, that's still very small. Okay. Still nowhere near the lower bound. Okay. However, here's something else that he didn't think of, didn't state, is that once the cyanide gets into the air, okay, it's going to settle down. It's heavier than air. So over a period of a day or so, the cyanide that hits the top of the atmosphere as dust will turn in, it may not even turn into cyanide until it gets to water vapor. So once it turns into cyanide, it continues on to float down. So the concentration of cyanide is going to be much higher at sea level than it is 1,000, 2,000 feet. Okay, so again, it's another multiplier. And over a week, the concentration is building up higher and higher at sea level and slowly going up. It still may not be anywhere near the EPA limit. But there's one other thing that is also not calculated in, is that the water will absorb the cyanide. And maybe it's going to be degraded during that week that we're going through the debris field. But what will happen is that eventually the cyanide will interact with everything, and pretty soon the cyanide will still be coming, and the concentration will be getting higher. And that might actually get to the level that the EPA would be concerned about. What does this mean? I think that the prediction, if this all comes to pass like this, I think the prediction in the Bible where John sees people dying from drinking the water is going to come true. I don't think the concentration in the air is going to be sufficiently high to kill people. I think what will happen is that over this time period of the dust coming to the atmosphere, it will get harder to breathe, because a certain amount of the blood is going to be shut down from delivering oxygen. And I think the first people that will be affected by this will be people with emphysema, or people that are on oxygen, or maybe even people that have asthma. Maybe they will die, maybe they won't. They'll just get harder to breathe. And because people are finding it hard to breathe, and there's no smell to the cyanide apparently, they won't recognize what's happening to them. And so I think what will happen is that when the concentration in the water gets high enough and people are weakened, and suppose 50% or 20% of their lung function is gone, the blood is still circulating, but it's not delivering oxygen. and then they drink the water that's got cyanide in it, and they'll just keel over. So, and this will be progressive. It won't happen immediately. It'll take a while. And if they drink water for 2 or 3 days, maybe that's what's going to take to make the concentration high enough to kill. And in the meantime, everybody's in a panic because dying starts early in small numbers and gradually increases. So the gas mask isn't necessary, and maybe they'll do a calculation that shows that the gas mask, and that you don't need to worry about the air and the water combination or anything else. You know, this is still ongoing. But I think there is a cover-up, and that the people that run the International Space Station absolutely have to evacuate from the International Space Station because this dust is going 174,000 miles. It's going to put a hole in the spaceship, in the space station, when it hits it. Maybe somebody was saying, oh, well, if it's going that fast, even if it's only a tiny grain, it'll go right through it. Go in, come out the other side, and just leave a small leak, pinhole leak. And that's probably going to happen. Oh, by the way, if one of those tiny grains going 170,000 miles hits the dish satellites, you won't have dish. I bought and put up an internet connection to get cable TV. It's a Netgear. Okay, I just put it up. I haven't tested it. And one of the things I'm going to do as we get closer is I'm going to buy some bottled water, and in the 24-pack, I'm just going to stack it. That was thanks to Josh Tucker's suggestion. So I'm going to get a new filter for my water filter. So I'll be sure to get everything out of the water. I'm going to buy those little dust masks. I don't want to breathe in any dust particles that have cyanide in it. But it is a huge relief to know that the gas mask isn't necessary in that way. And I'm sorry if I'm frightening some people, but I think I need to put this out there. I think you need to pay attention to this. Oh, the other thing you can do, okay, so one of the other things you can do is take a vacation during the time that the dust is coming. What you should do is go live in the mountains for a week. Okay, so that's a big expense to do that, I know, and your job and stuff like that. But, so okay, so I'm just giving you options. I'm telling you what I think, okay, and I'm sorry if I screwed up in telling you even. In my mind, it's something to pay attention to. Okay, well that's it for now, thanks.